Welcome back, everybody, to your three-man booth. We are in the heart of the NFL offseason, about a little before the new league year, so we're thinking predictions here. I'm Dan Salem with Phil and Bud. How are you guys? Are you surviving the winter? Football, new year starts soon.
They can't warm it up fast enough here in the Northeast. Let's put it that way. Luckily, we got daylight savings time on Sunday, so it's going to help a little bit.
Awful.
Yeah,
Bud's not a fan of daylight savings time, apparently.
I like it when it gets dark at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And
it's not for me.
yeah, I don't like the sun.
Oh, we'll disagree on that, but that's why I live out west.
Well, you live in California, dude. It's sunny every day.
Yeah, but it'll be sunny later now, which is good.
You can take those long walks on the beach again.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of news swirling about the CBA. The players are voting. We know they're going to add 2 playoff teams, 1 per conference, which is super interesting to me, especially as a team that constantly lands on the wrong side of the bubble, the Jets. But we don't really know what else is going to be in there. I mean, I got some thoughts on the playoff teams. You guys have any predictions? What else is going to be in there? Like, there's been stuff thrown around. I don't think they're going to approve a 17th game for a while, but
The players are not going to approve a 17th game.
But that's in there though, right? So that means they wouldn't approve the whole deal.
Right. And I think that the owners, from everything that I've read, that's kind of predicated on it passing, right? So
Yeah.
the players don't want it. And
Well, which players don't want it? Which players don't want it, though?
the ones that with power, though, Phil, the ones that have a vote. I mean, there's
They all have a vote.
Yeah,
They
they're
all
all
have a vote.
voting. They got to do 50% or 75%, something like that.
It's interesting too because you think of how many of those people, how many of those guys make millions of dollars, right? Let's just call it 4 or 5% make the big money. All these guys that are barely hanging onto a roster spot are like, another game equals another check. For those guys that are struggling, and what's the average lifespan of a football player? 3 or 5 years, right? This is going to potentially add a little more money. So all those players that are like,
But does that shorten the lifespan from 3 to 5 to 2 to 4?
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, when you're only talking one game, I probably not, because I don't know what the exact verbiage is, but this is supposedly supposed to get rid of some preseason games too, by the way.
Well, it gets rid of a preseason game. They don't play in the preseason generally.
But here's the thing, they get rid of a preseason game, right? Preseason games are useless anyway.
Of course.
They're also taking away practices. They're also taking away full contact practices. So
how much more can they take away?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, at a certain point, the preseason is garbage anyway. And lately, the first 4 games of the year, they haven't been great.
No, they are the preseason. No.
Right. So they're essentially preseason for a lot of these teams. So you're coming right out of the gate, and it's not great football. The players are not going to have an opportunity to hit each other. They're not going to have an opportunity to really get into game action. They don't want the 17th game, at least is what I'm reading. And then you also have it's an added game in the regular season, and those who make the playoffs, it's another game in the playoffs, because the only team that gets a bye is the 1 seed. Everybody else has got to play 4 games.
Well, assuming they go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think you should underestimate that 1 to 2 game extra on their wear and tear of their body, especially if they have less time to get in shape. I mean, they're not planning on start about the offseason any earlier. So, these guys get injured so frequently. It makes me nervous to extend the season. But
and these guys tend to get injured like first practice of the year. I mean, AJ Green hurt his foot literally the first practice of the year, and he didn't play at all.
Wow. There's a little. Well, come on.
Put all that other.
Cincinnati was any good, he wouldn't have missed the whole season.
All of that BS aside, he wasn't going to play until week 10 or 11 anyway.
But
I get you.
They always give Le'Veon Bell a lot of crap for skipping the voluntary workouts because he's training himself so that the way he knows how. And all these guys go step on the field and get hurt. And I don't know. If he found a way that he can stay healthy, then he's got to do it because they are going to spend it.
Barely got the ball this year. I mean, it's hard to get injured when you're not getting the ball.
Yeah, he got it a lot. He just didn't do
You
it.
could have played just as good as Le'Veon Bell, Dan. You would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What if there's a scenario where they took away a game? So instead of 16 games, there was 15 games. Would the players unanimously vote for that? I don't think so. Now you're taking money out of the paychecks.
right, and then this is going to increase their revenue share too. That's why it's hard for them to turn this down.
Right.
And the playoff revenue share really has improved because I don't think I think teams with a bye didn't get any money. Now the teams with a bye will get money even though they're not playing that week.
Still got to make the playoffs. So, I mean, those bottom feeder teams, it doesn't really matter to them.
But so I looked and saw how many years the Jets would have made the playoffs with this extra team over the last 10 or 15 years. And they would have made it 3 extra times. But the number of times an 8-8 team was going to be the last team is high. So with this extra playoff team per conference, you're really shooting for 8-8 or better, which is extremely achievable in a turnaround season. Like, it really opens the door for hope, at least, I think.
Think about how poorly the Jets played last year, and if they had just beaten Cincinnati and Miami that first time, they would have been in the playoffs. So,
yeah, and I mean 8-8 Pittsburgh was the team that would have got in with this new format. So, not that they would have done anything, but
do we know what the players are giving up to extend the season a game and all that fun stuff? Like, I don't know what I haven't heard anything about what they're negotiating to. I mean, it's probably more money. It's probably more revenue share. But
I think that they're giving up the extra game. I mean, the owners want the extra game.
No. But I'm saying my point is if they're like, all right, we agree to the 17-game season.
Oh,
what are we getting in return?
There was something like
money.
I don't know the percentage of that they currently get, if it's 3.5%, but it was going up by 0.1%, something like that, which is reasonably significant, and it's spread across the players. So their share was going up, and then they're at plus an extra game. And I thought that they were relaxing the marijuana policy, which was really a key issue for a lot of players, especially in legal states. I'm pretty sure that's a key component of this that the players are want.
Would that be interesting if, let's say, obviously not all states have it legalized, right? So you can see scenarios where players are like, I'm going to go play in Denver because weed is legal, but I'm not going to go play in New York where it's not legal. Well, I don't know. Is it legal in New York yet? I don't even know.
I think medical.
Well,
all right, but you could see scenarios where players are picking teams based on that until it's legalized nationwide.
Or they're all training their off seasons in a legal state, so they go to Miami or LA anyways. So it'll be interesting. But that's good. I mean, too many of those guys get addicted to opiate pills or whatever because they get prescribed pain meds and they need something they're not going to be addicted to.
So it's interesting. So the group of 11 players, I think it was 11. Well, actually, it wasn't even 11 players. It was 11 people because it's former players and some current players. I know Richard Sherman's in there. So they voted 6-5 against the notion of the Players Association accepting it. Players Association accepted it. Now it's going to the players themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah. At first glance, it sounds like, all right, they're going to recommend that they don't do it. Now the Players Association is like, yeah, this sounds pretty good. We're going to do it. Now it's up to the players.
Well, as a fan, I hope it passes, even though I don't necessarily want an expanded season because they're doing this a year in advance. If they don't do it now, they're probably not going to have a new proposal to vote on until this time next year, which is right at the deadline.
Right.
So, and we don't want to see that because then all the news of threatening strike pops up, even if it's not real. I mean, maybe they get something by July or August for them to re-vote on. I don't know, but
it's interesting that they didn't shoot it down right away. So it's like it's not went to that first committee. They said 6-5 against. Then the Players Association didn't say no. We're absolutely not even doing this. Like it's already past that. Now it's on to step number 3. So there must be enough in there where the Players Association is like, guys, it's not a. I don't know. Again, I don't know the specifics, but like it can't be that bad of a deal.
No, I really think it's the 17th game that to me is your turnoff for most players. And if I had to guess, it'll pass by a slim margin because nobody wants a work stoppage in a year. So
right. Would you rather play one extra game or not play at all?
But is there going to be another bye?
That's a good, interesting question. They may add an extra bye or start the bye.
If they add another bye, in reality, you're playing the same number of games. It's really not anything. Because right now it's a 17-week season with one bye.
I think they'd make it 18 weeks with 2 byes. Oh, you're right.
I don't think they're. I
Oh,
I
no.
didn't hear anything about another bye.
I think they're giving an extra bye to teams that like go to London or something. Or there's a little.
So that was interesting because
that's not fair to the teams that don't go to London.
well, right. So we don't know what I don't think we know what that 17th game is.
No.
Is it an extra home game for teams? Is it everyone plays a neutral site game? We don't know yet.
And I know that they would take a year or two to figure it out. So it's like the playoff format would go in immediately, but the rest would take some time.
I mean, they desperately want NFL football in Europe. Desperately. So if every team has to go there, or they play in Mexico City, or they play in a state that doesn't have NFL football, something like that.
Yeah, they should go up to Canada too. I mean, I don't know why they're limiting themselves.
They used to do that. They used to go to Toronto. The Bills used to play a home game in Toronto every year.
Yeah, maybe it didn't do well. I don't know.
No, it didn't do well at all. That's why they stopped doing it.
Yeah. Well, the other big news is Tom Brady, because we all love to hate him and he's super interesting and it's the end of an era if he actually leaves New England. But I thought it was super interesting that they have 2 weeks to make the decision, because the start of the league year, he counts like $23 million against the Patriots cap. But if they sign him to a new deal, they can really change that figure. So he'll either sign this league year, or he won't sign with them, basically, because they're not going to offer him a better deal once the calendar flips over. I still feel like he's going to stay, even though
the more this drags on, the more I think he may go. I mean, normally when he's never really been a free agent, but they've always locked him up like really quickly. They haven't even touched this.
No. Well, they refigured it back in August to defer all of this money on their cap till later, and he got a big signing bonus and like
those are empty years. Essentially,
right.
Years didn't even exist.
No, and so now they void, and they have to pay all that dead money if they don't re-up them again for another year.
They're not going to pay him $33 million.
Wait, Dak was offered that this week?
He was offered that at the end of the season, and he turned it down.
Yeah, and they haven't made a new offer, have they? I mean, I can't believe he's sitting there.
I think they're gonna franchise him, specialized franchise or something. I don't know what the difference is, but I heard that.
Because also, I thought I heard about that someone in Patriots camp was saying they were waiting to see what the CBA vote was going to be before they decided what they were going to do with Brady.
That's what the Jets are doing with Tremaine Johnson.
Right.
Yeah. So they need to cut him, but I guess if the CBA passes, they don't have to, right?
If the new CBA gets approved, there's actually they're waiting for the wording in there. They might actually save money if they wait and cut him.
Till June 1st. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Plus, I heard the cap is going up to another like $10 or $12 million next year.
Yeah, I think it'll be $200 million or something.
Which is going to help.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to help some teams, not them, essentially. I don't know. Well, I've been hearing a bunch of Niners talk. Brady to the Niners.
But see, the Niners don't have a lot of cap space, and they got a lot of guys to bring back from that nearly championship team.
Why would they do that? Jimmy Garoppolo missed one pass in the Super Bowl? Give me a break.
He wasn't the reason they lost.
He was not the reason.
I'm just telling you what I hear. I agree with you.
Yeah, but they'd have to trade Garoppolo then.
The Patriots.
Wouldn't it make sense for him to go back to New England?
But see, that's so silly because Brady's got 1 year left. Whoever pays for him is going to regret it because
he wants to play until he's 45, which means that he's got 2 or 3 years left.
Yeah. See,
he's going to be looking for a 3-year contract, Dan.
You think so?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure he is, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he wants Kirk Cousins' contract, where it's 3 years fully guaranteed. Because Kirk Cousins set that precedent.
I can only see like maybe the Browns are dumb enough to give him it. Maybe the Redskins.
Baker Mayfield, and the team that's around that organization is a complete dumpster fire.
Well, I'm just saying, who's willing to pay that kind of money?
Las Vegas.
The Raiders. I don't think they will.
No, I think they would.
They just sold their practice facility that they never even stepped foot in for $190 million. They got money, man.
Did they really? I missed that.
They bought it for like $19 or $25 million, something stupid like that, and they just sold it for crazy money.
Oh, that's
right. The Las Vegas Raiders
stadium. They want to make a splash. Derek Carr is not a big. John Gruden does not like Derek Carr.
No, so, I mean, he's not anything at this point in his career. He's kind of proven he can't be more than he is. But Brady needs a lot of help. Like the Patriots designed an offense to protect his ass so hard, and they had the best defense in the league for 2/3 of the season. So you can't say that.
He said to go to Tampa Bay. No state tax. He got Evans and Godwin, whichever one it is. That's not a bad fit.
No running game.
He already took a
running game in New England.
He took a forgotten franchise already and made them relevant. I don't think he wants to do it again. He wants to go to some place with some cachet.
I would say if he doesn't end up going back to New England, I would say Vegas is probably his best bet.
Yeah.
You got a young running back that can carry the ball, take a lot of pressure off of him.
I mean, I do like the LA Chargers too, especially they're starting in a new stadium also, big city.
But the team that's around them is not going to be as good. I mean, Vegas isn't that good either, but
I mean, the Chargers are a season removed from 12-4. They had a step back last year. So, I mean, who knows what they'll be this year. Gordon will be gone. But
we don't even know if Melvin Gordon's going to be there, yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, they won't pay him. Someone else will be stupid to pay him too much. I don't think they will. They know him too well.
Two bum knees, and he barely got any touches. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be playing much.
So what do you guys think? Brady's a Patriot or Brady's
I think he goes someplace else, and I'm from my lips to God's ears. I hope he goes to the NFC because I don't want to deal with him anymore.
Well, so Brady goes and plays for an NFC team. Who quarterbacks the Patriots, and are they a better team with this new quarterback because they still have a great head coach?
There is no quarterback. There is no quarterback. I mean, they'd have to get somebody in free agency, or they'd have to trade somebody. So
right.
They'd have to get somebody like Teddy Bridgewater, or they'd have to get somebody, Jameis Winston, which that would be a colossal mistake.
Could you imagine if they get Phillip Rivers for a year?
I mean,
yeah, but you know what? Like,
that's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, but at the same time, like that.
I don't know where he's going to go.
Yeah, but that offense is predicated on not turning the ball over, and Phillip Rivers all he does is turn the ball.
Maybe they bring Brissett back because he started his career in New England. I mean,
that's the thing. So
then who quarterbacks the Colts? Andrew Luck?
No, that would be on. I heard that if Phillip Rivers goes to the Colts, then Brissett's out of there.
Yeah, I mean Brissett's good. He for some reason it just didn't quite jive with the Colts last year, but I like what he does.
He played fine until he got hurt, but when he came back, he looked like garbage.
He also got thrust into a situation about, hey, you're now the starting quarterback 1 week before the season started.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was a tough spot to be in, which I thought he did pretty well, to be honest with you, right, until he got hurt. But
what if Tom Brady went to the Colts?
Yeah.
Good offensive line, good running back, solid wide receivers, good defense.
That would be if he had a grudge against Peyton Manning. That would be the ultimate suck at Peyton move, especially if he could win a Super Bowl there.
If he leaves, then the real debate becomes everything that we've always talked about: is Brady a product of Belichick, or is Belichick a product of Brady?
Yeah, or are they just the perfect pair? And
right. Because if both of them split, and then Belichick goes 7-9 next year, and Tom Brady goes 7-9 next year, clearly the two of them were meant for each other, and they both sucked at the beginning. And there's a reason why he was 199th pick in the draft, right?
Well, Bud's having a Jets wet dream right now, but it could play itself out. It could play itself out.
My pants. I just,
it seems reasonably likely that one of them will not be successful next season if they split. I can't imagine both will have a great season,
But you guys have to worry about Buffalo next year now.
As a Jets fan, I never worry about Buffalo. They're always pretty good, but maybe it's the stink of those 4 straight Super Bowl losses. I just don't feel like they ever have enough.
They should have beaten Houston. They blew it.
Yeah,
they blew their lead in the playoffs.
I agree. Well, we got a lot of other quarterbacks kind of floating out there. I mean, there's weird news about who may draft a quarterback, even if they don't need him. Like Washington may draft a quarterback, but they just did that. Like, are they already dumping on their
but Ron Rivera has zero ties to Dwayne Haskins right now.
Yeah,
and a lot of it could just be smoke. It's what would somebody like Miami, who has 3 first-round picks, Would they give up all 3 first-round picks to get the second pick and get Tua?
I don't even think you have to go to second pick because if Washington was smart, they go Chase Young. I don't know what Detroit's going to do. I thought I heard some rumblings about Matt Stafford not being there, so maybe they go quarterback. Selfishly, I want all those guys to do what they're supposed to do, so everyone gives the hold to the Giants at 4, so the Giants trade back. That's what I really want.
What pick does Miami have? 6?
5 or 6. They're right behind New York.
They
Okay.
won't trade all 3. They would trade their first and second and third for a hop-up.
But if they pick 6 and they can't move, there's a chance that Tua is not there. And they tanked this year.
Right.
Tua. That's who they want. So if they got to give up all their picks, Burrow's going 1. If Burrow doesn't go 1, there's some sort of vortex in the universe that something's going on. Tua it could be there at 2.
Yeah, and then the other thing is Miami did pass on Lamar Jackson, and so now they really got it on there to like really get their guy right.
See, they have to be worried about they got to be worried about the teams behind them because I think the Chargers pick right behind Miami. I don't know if it's a pick, 2 picks, whatever, but the Chargers obviously need a quarterback, so they're going to be looking to make some moves too. So Miami's got to be worried about that. So to your point, yes, maybe they will overpay to move up to
I could see
2 or 3 or 4.
3. I could see 2 1s,
But
Yeah, I'll take 2 first-round picks.
Miami would actually be the perfect spot for him if they traded their draft picks and they got to 2. You draft Tua at 2, and you redshirt him this year because you already have Fitzpatrick coming back for a year. He's the perfect gap.
Now if you traded 2 firsts for him, can you really afford to redshirt him, or are you going to get fired as that head coach?
He may not even be ready to play yet, dude. His hip was like detached from his body.
No, they say he's cleared. They say he's medically cleared.
How are you going to draft a guy who can't play?
Cleared and actually able to play right away are 2 different things.
That's true.
So you're asking to spend 2 first-round picks to get a guy that can't play yet and won't play for a year? That doesn't happen anymore.
Well, let's put it this way. If he doesn't get hurt, he's going number 1 over Joe Burrow.
Right.
Easily. Yeah.
Easily, right. So, and Bud's right. You have Fitzpatrick for at least 1 more year. Let him get healthy.
Now, I'm very much a proponent of that philosophy, but we have
He'll
not
get killed in Washington. He'll get absolutely killed.
But we have not seen a single team who's drafted a quarterback first round sit that quarterback for more than a month over the last 5 to 7 years. Every single one of them played.
Yeah, but I mean, this would actually be a rare case, though, Dan. Right? I mean, like the guy's coming off of a potentially career-ending injury, and people are still really high on him. But like, I just don't think that he'll be there at 6. I think somebody will trade up. And
he won't be there by 6.
And that's what I mean. But if Miami really wants him, they're going to have to go to 2. They're going to have to.
Yeah, I'd be curious if they'll – because, I mean, if they add 3 number 1 picks that are 3 starters, 3 solid starters, they can do really well with Fitzpatrick and find somebody next offseason. They don't need a rookie.
Because I don't even see Washington drafting a quarterback, to be honest with you. They have so many – they're like all these other teams. There's too many holes. They're not drafting – I don't think they're drafting a quarterback.
I mean, it's glitzy to grab one of those guys, but it's better team building to actually build a team. So I'd be curious.
But you said it perfectly. It's glitzy, and Snyder is all about glitz and glamour.
Yeah. If it was any other – yeah. If it was any other team, I wouldn't believe it, but I could see them dumping on Haskins for that glitz and move.
So let's say, all right, so let's say that Detroit Washington picks Chase Young like they probably should. Do you think he gets past Detroit? I know Matt Stafford's there, but
no, Stafford's got 1 year left. I don't think he's got one.
Yeah, but he's pretty much worn out his welcome too.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
He's injured last season, so
That's not. But that you can't count the guy anymore.
well, that's what I mean. Like he'd be a good handoff quarterback, just like Fitzpatrick at this point.
We all forget that Matthew Stafford was a really good quarterback when he actually had a running game and wide receivers and a decent defense with Ndamukong Suh. He has nothing. He has Matt Patricia, who's garbage. He's not very good. I put him with Adam Gase. They think that they're great and they're not.
Stafford would kill it as the Patriots quarterback. He would absolutely
he'd kill it. He'd be the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, which is scary because
he's got plenty of arm strength. he's been relatively healthy. He wasn't healthy-ish last year, but he's got no weapons.
Yeah.
They got rid of all of his good receivers. What, Kenny Golladay? Give me a break.
No, I'm not sure what they're doing down in Detroit. So it's not pretty. I agree.
But the fun thing is, in 2 weeks, that free agency period, in 2 days, it's over. All the guys are gone in 2 days. This doesn't get dragged out like the NBA one does. These guys are done
What day
in the first day or two.
What day of the week's the 18th? You got a calendar for you?
Tampering starts the 16th, so we'll know where people are going on the 16th.
That's true. You're right.
Sign until the 18th, which is Monday.
Monday's the 16th?
16th. So Wednesday is when they can officially sign people. This is what happened with the Jets last year. Remember they had C.J. Mosley and Barr, and then all of a sudden in that 48 hours he bailed and went back to Minnesota.
Yeah, that's all right. We got where we got.
Yeah, Jets defense actually played pretty well last year.
Yeah, they had a great defensive coach.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll have to see if we want to touch base at the precipice of tampering or right after the dust settles. We'll have to make a collective decision and see what's the most interesting. It doesn't really make sense to talk about it in the middle of the hurricane because we'll be talking about half the stuff that's probably not going to be real anymore. So,
we could do it the night of the 18th.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
But by then 48 hours have cleared and we pretty much know where everybody's going. The only person who we may not know where it's going is Tom Brady.
Well, he'll sign before that, or he won't sign for a little bit closer to the draft. So, yeah.
Well, if the Patriots haven't signed them yet, I don't know if they're going to unless they want to just make this all drama.
Yeah, I don't know if they're playing chicken because it's hard to see why they wouldn't. I mean, wouldn't have already had a deal. I keep coming back to this, but
the Patriots are right now the only team that can talk to him and sign him right now before any of this starts.
Yeah.
So the fact that they haven't done that yet, who's playing chicken? Are the Patriots playing chicken?
No,
or is Tom playing chicken?
Probably Brady. Well, we've seen a few trades go down, so he could be traded, or so a couple other players could get moved around. But
can you imagine them trade Tom Brady? Boston may burn.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Oh.
Yeah. They we're still waiting on the Red Sox punishment news. MLB slow rolling us on that, so he's got some bad stuff coming.
Nothing's going to happen to them. Do you know, not to change subjects too much, that in the first 3 preseason games, the Astros got beat 9 times?
It's going to happen more.
It's going to be a long year for the Houston Astros.
They better have a lot of icy hot in that clubhouse.
You know that the Red Sox are getting punishment. They didn't just fire their manager for no reason. He did all that crap with their team the year after he did it with the Astros.
So they hired what's his face to be the interim manager. Now, do you think everything I hear, they fired Cora, but there's a chance, depending on what the penalty is, that you let him sit out this year and then you rehire him next year.
Oh, but what's the penalty going to be? None of the Astro players got any penalties, and they got nothing taken away. Like, what's the penalty really going to be?
They would do something the same, like draft picks and
base 12, right?
And they fined them and they suspended the GM and the coach or the manager for a season. So it was probably the most they could do, but without really hurting anybody.
No, it literally was the most they could do without suspending any players.
That's why I'm super creeped. I just assumed the exact same thing would be coming towards the Red Sox, and the Red Sox immediately.
Was it proven that the Sox scandal was as lucrative and as elaborate as the Astros one?
They were using iWatch.
Apple Watch, right?
Apple Watches.
I mean,
right.
They fired Cora.
Well, Cora was a part of the Astro one too, so it was kind of like guilty by association at that point. Beltran got fired. He didn't even have a day as the Mets manager.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know. They've been actively investigating the Red Sox for a while. I think they want to not. They don't want to do anything with it, but they got to do something. So,
I mean, as our resident Dodger fan, you're probably still stewing over 2017, right?
I'm a Yankees fan.
You represent the city of Los Angeles.
So as a Yankees fan, I'm stewing over 2017 when they lost in Game 7 of the LCS by an inch to the team that was cheating. the home and away split was ridiculous. The Yankees would have easily taken care of the Dodgers.
Dan, do you think you're not a relatively big guy? I mean, what are you, 5'9", 5'8"?
I'm 5'11".
You're 5. Okay, sorry. So,
but
you think you can hit a 93-mile-an-hour slider?
I could hit one if you give me enough tries.
But do you think you could hit it if you knew exactly where the pitch was and what the pitch was?
If I knew the slider was coming and I knew the location, I mean,
when that little twerp hit that home run to send them to the World Series this year, I was texting Phil. I said, "There's no way that could happen."
Yeah, well, he knew exactly what was coming. He had the little buzzer.
My daughter is almost as tall as him.
He had the buzzer, but then of course they're not going to investigate that any further. He just went like this. Don't touch me. Don't touch my illegal activities.
My wife doesn't want to see my body. That's what he said.
Yeah, right.
Phony ass.
Well, he's full of crap. He changed his story 5 times, and they're trying to explain that. All right, well, we diverged, but that's because it's way more interesting.
Not bitter Yankee fans here, right? Not at all.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not bitter. They still should have won. I mean, cheating and baseball kind of go hand in hand. It's just a matter of how egregious the cheating.
They've been stealing signs for 115 years in baseball, but nobody used cameras and technology.
Well, the fact is, everybody knew the Astros were doing it, so then they were doing things to try to compensate for the fact that they were cheating, but the cheating got so good that they couldn't overcompensate. So that's why
It will be interesting to see if they have some sort of count as the season starts of how many times they're getting plunked at the plate.
Well, wait till they play the Yankees.
I mean, wait till they can go to any arena.
Do they get to play the Dodgers? I haven't really looked at the schedule. If they play LA and interleague.
They have to play every team.
Interleague's only one of the divisions. I think. I don't think you get every team in interleague. I could be mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on the Giants or the Jets? We kind of ramroded past them, but they're both.
No, it's been pretty quiet. There's really nothing going on.
Do you expect a lot of spending when the league year kicks off from either team? I don't really think. I think they're both going to be pretty quiet.
They better spend every friggin' penny they have this year.
Well,
they better spend every single dollar they have in cap space.
That's
no question about it. What are you saving it for?
I suppose. But what if you assign someone over the summer in August from injury?
Well, listen, you can't predict that, but I mean, both teams have their quarterback, both teams have their running back. You don't. Oh, in my case, they're on rookie deals. You have a ton of money to spend right now, a ton.
I just don't. That's a lot of money to spend too.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like both teams should spend every penny they have.
They need offensive line and wide receiver, and the draft's pretty deep at both positions. So I'm curious how aggressive the Jets will actually be, because you don't want to overpay for somebody. They've made that mistake time and time again. I don't think Joe Douglas will. He kind of threw a flyer at, was it Cleomac over the summer, and it totally blew up in his face. So
I don't even have an idea of who the Giants are targeting in the draft, because I don't even believe they're going to pick at number 4, to be quite honest with you. I think they're trading out, which they absolutely should do.
Yeah, no, I agree. They should trade out.
Yeah, 100% they should trade out.
Chase Young is still sitting there.
Well, that's the only day off. I don't know how Chase Young is falling to us, but yes, that's the only scenario where they don't trade out.
The only scenario is they go quarterback 1, 2, 3.
Do they? Yeah, that's it. Do they bring back Leonard Williams?
Oh, I haven't even thought about that. You might as well, because you overpaid for it, so you might as well.
Did you hear about Muhammad Wilkerson?
I did. That's disappointing.
What a fall from grace, huh?
Yeah. I don't know how serious it is. I know DWI, but yeah, drugs. Yeah.
Probably not good.
No. Well, how about the players are upset because Romo got a huge contract to call the games, and they're all upset he's getting paid more than the players. But I'm like, that's kind of how TV works.
Phil, do you think Tony Romo's worth $17 million a year?
How do you think Jim Nantz feels as the guy who does everything CBS asks him to do, and Tony Romo's essentially tripling his salary to be the color commentator It's not even like they moved him into the lead broadcaster. Tony Romo's the color commentator.
You ask 20 people, do you know who Tony Romo is? Do you know who Jim Nantz is? That's your answer.
I don't know. I think Jim Nantz does a ton of stuff.
But
Apparently they're not asking Tony Romo to do anything else. Nothing.
That's what I'm saying. 20 weeks. He has to work 20 weeks.
Mandi knows who Tony Romo is. I'd have a hard. She couldn't tell you who Nantz.
Well, show her the Masters in a few weeks, and you'll know who Jim Nantz is.
What?
Yeah. Put on the Masters in a couple weeks.
Terrible.
We'll love it.
Yeah, we're not a golf.
I mean, yeah, they had to because otherwise he was going to ESPN.
Yeah,
and I don't even know what I don't even know if they offered him anything. I didn't see it, but.
You mean Disney?
Yeah, Disney. Yeah. Which, interestingly enough, I think it was Disneyland. I thought I read today that they find that one of their ticket prices was essentially one day for $200. They can afford Tony Romo, right?
Oh, Disneyland's definitely over $200 now.
For a single day, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
They raised it a lot.
Wow. If you go like Christmas time, it's $200.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went when I first moved to LA. It was under $50. It was like $40, $45. I'm old.
Do you have your coronavirus gear, Dan? Are you all right? You're just surviving on Monster Energy drinks?
There you go.
Yeah.
That should kill the coronavirus.
Toxic enough to do it. It's toxic enough to do it.
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.